Welcome to the Hometown Huddle podcast. We'll start recording so everybody can get stiff as a board here, I guess, and stop talking. We were just discussing the potential college football 25 online dynasty amongst the brothers that we're trying to figure out. I think everybody has an Xbox, so that's good. Except for Caleb. He's going to figure it out somehow. But you don't even have to have an Xbox anymore. Can't you just like stream all the games?
Sorry, one more time?
Can't you just like stream the games now? Don't you? You don't even need like the Xbox anymore, I thought. You can just like...
Oh, yeah, I think you can like to your phone or something.
Yeah, you can just like get on your laptop
you
and
can,
hook up a controller.
Yeah. Do you have to like buy... Who's got the crazy microphone thing going on?
I think it's Caleb.
Is that mine?
Caleb's headset.
But it's just because
I'm
something's
trying to
hitting
figure
it
it out, but it's not working.
Yeah.
Caleb's got the microphone
It
in
may
his
have
mouth.
just been while you were putting them on, Caleb.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
My TV is a Samsung TV, and it has a built-in Xbox.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's exciting. My TV that we have, I think, is the TV that we got when we moved into that house in Boise in like 2009, and it still works great. I don't know if it's that old. It's old. Nobody can hear you, Dad. You're covering the mic. Did I lose everybody? I can't hear any of you. Can you guys?
Soundboard.
Ooh, yikes.
There we go.
I'll take that.
I think to play the Xbox on your phone, you have to buy a special thing, but I think
Yeah,
you
you probably
can.
have to
And
buy
I
a
heard of
special
somebody saying you could play it on your Mac too.
Oh, really?
Your laptop, yeah, if you have it.
Sure, you could. Let's see if I had you guys working on the settings here. Okay, that's not bad. Anyways, Online Dynasty, Corbin, you seem to know a lot about these. How do they work?
So it's been a thing for a while now, but I'd say they perfected the art recently in this video game now with next generation video game technology.
Processing power.
In the original football video games, you could do like a season mode for those who aren't familiar with the way it works. You pick a team and then you play from the current season onward, going ahead, and you try to build your program up. Well, now with online gaming, a group of people can pick teams in the same league, conference, I guess, in college football, and you can compete against each other. And it gets really in depth with your conference games, competing for conference titles and bowl games, as well as like recruiting.
Recruit guys.
So, yeah, for those of you who are listening who aren't as familiar with it, let me give you a very technical breakdown there. Thank you, Carter. Back
Through
to you.
the power of the internet, you can connect your Xbox to another person's Xbox. So we might try and do that if we figure it out.
Get together and do a little hometown huddle stream. Allow people to tune in.
We'll start live streaming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I bet we'll get a lot of people.
Cash.
I might be absent that night.
Dad might be. You don't want to tune in and watch the games.
we're
You'd be
playing it
surprised, Dad. You'd have fun watching us call plays against each other in this game.
I would. It's fun just to jump on the phone right there when you guys are talking about RPOs and what to do with 2D safeties and all this kind of stuff. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then you'd hear us talk about it, you're like, whoa, they don't know what they're talking about. It's a very JV understanding in my book. It's about perfect for me. So,
but this sounds like this is like all facets of the game, right? I mean, you're recruiting, you say?
Yeah, you play like full seasons against each other.
It's like F1 manager game here.
Yeah,
pretty much. But
that's what's cool. Like, because Madden and stuff has been going for years and years, and it's kind of whatever. But college football 25, this new one, and the college football games are fun because they have a ton of different offenses. That's what I like about them. It's like, oh man, you can customize your playbooks. You're like, I can pull all the flex bone stuff out of navies, and you can take air raid and put them all in your own playbook and call different things, and then it's fun to like build your team. So that's kind of what we're talking about. Is like, I haven't played anything online of it. I just played when it first came out, like before the season, like actual football season started. and making your playbook and stuff. I was getting worried because I was like, crap, I'm going to get into like the football season and like want to call a play that I've been running in college football 25, but it never happened. Luckily. I never was like,
I swear this works every time on the video game.
I mean, on the video game, well, if you just do an RPO, it does work. That's honestly on JV. Because the
linebacker was not supposed to follow the running back there.
The linebacker
he was not.
Grant, did you not? Yeah. No, it was good. Like I think we had like 700 yards of offense against Prosser, and it was all just off RPOs. But to be fair, lineman downfield was not really getting called. So the RPOs, instead of it being like a slant, like 2 yards deep, it turned into like a 15-yard post, and the lineman had just blocked the counter to death and then just throw a post because the safety thought he had to run up to like play the run because the linemen are so far downfield, and then you just throw a post. So we maybe...
It's a strategy there.
It wasn't on purpose. I mean, I just called the run play, and then they can RPO whenever. And so it turns into PPO, pass option, pretty quick if you give them the chance.
I love PPO.
They don't want to run it. So, but it was fine. I think we had there were 5 straight plays where we scored because we kind of put our backups in on defense. We were up like 30, because if you get to 40 points, a 40-point lead, it's a running clock. And we were so excited because that game started at like 4. So we're like, we're going to get home early. This is awesome. And our baby was due I think 3 weeks from then. And so it was to the point where it was like, okay, if the baby comes early, like she could come today. So I was like, I kind of don't want to be hanging out in Prosser. I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah, you go into the games like, okay, they might be good, you guys. And then the kids laugh at you. They're like, no, they're not. We watched the film. And so we get up by 38-0 in the first half. I'm like, sweet, running clock. And then we kind of put some backup guys in, and then they score. Then they kick an onside kick, and they score again. It's like, crap. So we just kept scoring and getting to 38 or 39-point leads until it was like 67-28 at the end of the game. It's just like, oh my gosh, dude, could we stop them one time here in the second half? We're scoring every play. And then they wouldn't run the ball. They just pass. But then we got like a million unsportsmanlike penalties because the ref was crazy. Like, he kicked one of our kids out for saying the N-word. And even everybody on the team is like, on both every kid on both teams were like, he didn't say that. Like, and the ref's like, I have it on camera. We're like, can you, because they have to wear GoPros like the refs now. And we're like, can you show it to us? He's like, I'll be sending it to the state. So like he didn't say it. It was crazy. And we're like, so this kid gets ejected, has to take his pads off and sit on the side. It was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I get it. Yeah, we should penalize saying racial slurs. But when he didn't say it, like everybody on the whole team, like all the coaches, and this was like down inside like the 10-yard line, and then he makes us, you take the captains and the coaches, and he makes us go back to the 50 and huddle up, and he talks for like 5 minutes. He's like, I don't like doing this. I want you to know that I don't enjoy doing this. I'm like, well, it seems like you enjoy doing this. Because everybody's like, he didn't say that. Like,
who was the kid?
It was Armando.
Would never say it? Oh.
No, I mean, he could have, but I'm like, I do believe you. And even the kids on the other team, the offensive linemen, because he was playing D-line that were blocking him, were like, no, man, he didn't say that. I was like, I believe him. Like, I don't know. Like, it was out of control. I got so mad at the end because we all just kind of wanted to be done. And we were up by 39, and they had the ball on their own 1 yard line with 40 seconds left, and the kids were like, "Let's get him for a safety. We can get a 40-point lead." And so I'm like, "No, just who cares? The clock's gonna run out." And they snapped the ball, and I swear we blitzed 10 guys, not called, by the way. The kids are just dying to get a safety, and their quarterback just throws it up out of bounds or something, and the ref throws a flag for intentional grounding. Something happened. He threw a flag. It might have been for intentional grounding. I literally was like, decline. We don't care. We don't want to do the safety free kick. Just done. He was like, all right, cool, declined. I'm like, jeez, dude, it's ridiculous. So anyway, that's just a fun story about JV football.
Classic JV.
All the kids were pissed. A couple of the kids, like Dax Jenks, pulled himself out at the end of the game and had to put his AirPods in because he had to be on a driver's ed Zoom call, and we thought the game was going to be over. So he starts doing driver's ed before the game's over. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, are you talking to your brother? Like, who's on his mission? He's like, I have to do driver's ed. I'm like, oh, geez. So some good times out there. That's like that's not even anything to do with what we're talking about. But we ran a lot of kind of cheater RPOs in that game. So anyways, I'll run those in College Football 25 versus you guys. All right, cool. Well, let's get into this here. I'm reading my general outline. So we're going to talk about a few things today. So big thing coming up is the basketball district tournaments for the girls and the boys here in the SCAC District 5. And we'll kind of get into all that and how it works. Things kind of changed this year with like realignments. And so I looked up all the details. I researched it. And so we have the details of kind of what the standings are like, how the district tournament will work, how that goes into state, and then how the state playoffs work this year. Usually we're not too stressed about that, but Royal's good this year, so now we've got to start worrying about that. We want to talk a little bit about some of the other sports going on, wrestling. Last week we mentioned we were going to talk a little bit about flag football, so we might discuss that a little bit and how that is taking the world by storm. Maybe it's going to be in the Olympics. So, and it's the girls' flag football has been a big thing the past few years. And then we wanted to have a little debate. I'll surprise you guys with this one. Get your quick picks on something, and then also talking about maybe some stuff about the college and NFL playoffs. Real quick. If that sounds good, I guess we can talk about the college and NFL playoffs real quick. Kind of a bummer. I don't know how you guys feel about the NFL playoffs, but the teams that are left, the Lions getting eliminated really was a tough one for me. I was excited about
I agree.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
Don't even get me started.
Who's left? Commanders, Eagles,
And
who's in
then
the
Bills, Chiefs.
Bills, Chiefs.
AFC? Oh, Bills, Chiefs. Oh.
So it's all teams.
As long as it's not the Chiefs.
Yeah. I used to like the Chiefs, and then they just
exactly
got annoying. Like, it's different. And I've
I
seen
think they're
people...
annoying from the very start.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just liked Andy
You ever
Reid.
liked them?
The thing about the
Yeah.
Chiefs that's different with them and the Patriots is the Patriots were like kind of like, I don't know. Somebody described it really good on Twitter where they talked about it being like, maybe they said some stupid Star Wars thing, and I like Star Wars a little bit here and there now, but like we don't need to compare everything. But they were like the Empire, right? Like they were kind of scary, like they were bad guys, you know?
Yeah.
And they were straight up killers on the team in Aaron Hernandez. Like they were seriously had gangbangers and stuff. And then the Chiefs are all like dating Taylor Swift, and Patrick Mahomes is kind of a cornball, and
Exactly.
yeah, and then they have all their receivers. I don't know this for a fact, but they seem like kind of the paint your nails guys and different stuff, and I don't know. And they're flopping and stuff like that. Whereas the Patriots were like fighting each other on the sidelines, and Tom Brady was, Tom Brady. So I don't know. Yeah, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Chiefs gonna chief a little bit, but
Yeah,
It's
hopefully
interesting how
Bills will beat them.
overtime
We want to talk
perspective
about
has
them.
changed.
yeah. So yeah,
Because I remember like 2015, 2016, 2017, it was like the Patriots are the worst. They're so
Yeah.
annoying and they're cheaters. And
yeah.
it's kind of like exactly how the Chiefs are now. But now it's like the Patriots were so awesome.
Patriots were cool. Actually, now that I look back on it,
It's true. It's kind of like that for the Warriors too in the NBA.
Yeah.
And they're going to the championship everywhere. It's like, I want them to lose. Now you look back, you're like, they were so freaking good.
Yeah.
they were good. I didn't like them back then, though. I still thought they were annoying.
I mean, yeah, I thought they were annoying then, but now looking back, I'm like, it was really exciting back then. Now I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
even
that
care to
was
watch the
fun.
NBA. Back
Yeah.
then, I was like, I'll watch because LeBron might beat the Warriors this time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, when you bring it that way of like actually desire to watch, I have no desire to watch the NBA anymore.
Yeah.
But you do go on YouTube. I don't know if you guys do this. If you go, like I do this at lunch sometimes, I'm bored eating lunch in my classroom because I don't want to go socialize with anybody really. Which isn't, and not to be mean, but sometimes you just have kids all day like, Mr. Christensen, Mr. Christensen, Mr. Christensen. You're like, I just want silence for 20 minutes. That's what I want. But then you're like, I'm going to go on YouTube and just see what's on here. And it's like 2009 NBA highlights. You're like, this was awesome. This was cool.
Yeah.
Or Jimmer highlights popped up the other day. And it's kind of funny to watch. This is totally off track again, but who cares? This isn't not that many people.
who cares?
People aren't tuning in for
We'll
our
have to
like
stick to
really
the- no one's
nuanced
tracking the
NFL.
minutes here. We don't have
Nobody's
to
like,
report the minutes
well,
at our
we
next
really wanted to
meeting.
hear about what they thought about the NFL playoffs. But Jimmer Fredette highlights. For those of you who don't know, he's the best college basketball player of all time, and I haven't watched since he stopped playing, so I don't know if there's been some more good guys, but he was really good. But you watch, you're like, would it kind of suck? Like, I don't know. Do you guys think it would suck to be on his team? Because he would literally just come down and shoot it every time. Like, at least on the highlights. I mean, I guess they're showing his shots, but I kind of feel like that's what it was. Like, he wasn't passing it. He was the point guard. He brought it down.
Yeah.
He would maybe pass it and then get it back real quick, but it was like a shot all the time. Like, he was putting up crazy shots. Like, would that kind of suck to be on his team? Because some of the shots on these highlights, like he's scoring 52 points or whatever, but you're like, that's not really that good of a shot. You think you'd get kind of frustrated after a while? Like, okay, maybe like let's work the ball around, Jimmer.
I don't think you would, because I think you'd be like, well, that's not a good shot for Rick. He's making so many of them.
Yeah, you're like, this is crazy.
Like, every day would just be like, wow, he's still doing that? Like,
When will he learn? Did his actions have consequences? Yeah. So
with Kawhi Leonard guarding him.
yeah,
Yeah.
That turned out to be crazy. And then Jimmer like, yeah, well, and that's funny because then I think how I got into it was a Jimmer NBA highlight popped up first from when he was with like the Kings, like his rookie year, and then you start going down the YouTube rabbit hole. But going back to like the NBA thing, I'm like, dang, Jimmer was tiny, but it's kind of I'm like it. I don't know what it is. I'm not enough of an analyst of basketball, especially to be like, this is why the NBA is not enjoyable to watch. But I do.
I think it's just old.
Bit.
Like, I don't think it's because there's something about the game. Everybody says, oh, they shoot so many three-pointers. But I don't, because I've watched on whatever Christmas Day or whatever, I watched all the games. I went to a Jazz game.
Yeah, you went to one not that long ago, yeah.
Like, that's not what it is. I think it's just boring. Like, it was so exciting for a long time that now there's, like, whatever's going on is not as interesting as what was before, you know? And the NFL, it's just the normal cycle of, like, trends.
Yeah.
It's just not in the trend anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because they travel every time. That's what drives me crazy.
But I don't think
but
like
you
that's
look at
old people like you maybe think
Spoken
about
like
that.
an old person.
The
Yeah.
average
old heads.
viewer of NBA games isn't like, oh, they traveled. It's just like, okay, you know, like whatever. I don't know. It's not as much fun as it was when Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry were on the same team and LeBron was just battling his way, you know, and you're like, this is cool. But they were making a ton of three-pointers, and that was exciting because no one had ever done that. And now everyone's doing it, and you're kind of like, well, it's not – what's the next new thing? And there's no new thing.
Yeah. Well, you look at, like, the NFL, it'll be like it was boring for a little while, and then, like, the Patriots dynasty, and then, like, the Manning-Brady rivalry, and now you're kind of getting this, like, Allen Mahomes, and it seems like this is, like, a really exciting weekend for the NFL. But the NBA just, like, doesn't have that right now. Not like the Curry LeBron or – it's just not like
I don't know, this isn't not to be like racist, but is it them bringing in these Europeans? Like, they're weird. Not, I mean, like Doncic and Jokic. It's like all these Serbian guys, and they're like, I don't even like basketball. It's not fun. And you're like, all right.
I'd
and it
rather
used to be
play with my horses.
Yeah, he'd like, what would you get Michael Jordan for his birthday? And he's like, horse. And you're like, okay. But it used to be like killers out there. They'd hate each other, like Kobe and Shaq.
That's
and stuff.
That's the problem is. I think they're too good of friends now.
Yeah.
All the guys in the NBA are buddies. Back when you know, when you watch a game, you're like, oh, those guys hate each other, and they're trying so hard to beat each other. Now they're not trying that hard to beat each other.
Yeah, they're all buddies, or they don't. They're like, I don't like basketball. They're like, I just like not living in Serbia. And you're like, okay.
But I think the Olympics was really fun to watch, though. When you,
like,
the
that
Olympics was
fun,
really fun because it was like people freaking wanted to win, dude. When you watched France, they wanted to win that gold medal in Paris. Like that was a freaking motivator for them, and the U.S. was not going to let that happen. And so it was like hard defense and hard offense, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah,
you don't get that in the NBA.
Yeah, the FIBA rules are cool too. I kind of like those. Like, there's a few little subtle differences for those of us like connoisseurs of those things. I couldn't name what any of them.
Speaking of that, did you see Jokic's stat line for tonight?
No, did he have like a quintuple double?
35 points, 22 rebounds, 17 assists.
How do you even get 17 assists?
Wow,
like that's crazy.
He's good. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's freaking.
I mean, he's
good.
got some good freaking guys on his team. Like, I mean, get those cutters and those alley oops to like Aaron Gordon and those guys, and some good shooters.
Yeah,
I think the assist. If you are just moving the ball around, he'll get assists.
Mm-hmm.
What's crazy is when him and Russell Westbrook like both get triple doubles in the same game.
Does Westbrook play for them now?
It's like,
Yeah.
I didn't
They're
even know
doing really well, and Westbrook's doing really well.
Yeah, he's one that was annoying, and I kind of like him because he just keeps going. It's for me the NBA now. It's like when you would like get really bored on 2K and you'd like simulate to like 5 seasons in the future, and you'd be like, that guy's on that team now. Like, what the heck is that? That's kind of how I feel when I look at the NBA. Like Chris Paul, does he play for the Spurs or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I didn't even know that guy was still around.
When I went to that Jazz game, it was the Jazz and the Hornets, and Taj Gibson checked in for the Hornets. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Did you
Just
see
such a random name from like.
You're still alive?
Jello
Yeah.
G3's brother? Doesn't he play for the Hornets?
Yeah. Yeah. The Hornets had like 3 guys score 30 points in that game.
Yeah.
It was pretty impressive.
Did LaMelo Ball play?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I'd love to watch him.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I don't
I'll
really
go
like
on
watching.
YouTube and look him up.
Which brother is he?
He's a
the
traveler.
youngest.
He's the youngest one. Yeah, he's
The youngest? Okay.
Yeah.
He's also.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Really, Lonzo turned out to be
It's usually
the
how
biggest
it goes.
flop.
The youngest usually is the best athlete.
And the middle
Right,
is the
Cash?
best rapper.
Cash in there still.
He is. He's
There's
here.
Cash.
He's smiling. He knows he's got that in the bag.
Yeah. All right. Well, circling back anyway, the NFL playoffs, the Eagles and the Commanders. Who cares who wins that as long as it's not the Eagles?
No, you don't want the Eagles to win? I want the Eagles to win.
Aren't you a Giants fan? You should hate both of these
Yeah,
guys.
but like, I would. The Giants suck, and they suck for a reason, and that's why Saquon left. And I wanted
Chase is a
him
bandwagon
to
fan to the
motivate
Eagles.
them to get their, to get it together.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, he leaves and has like the best season anyone's
out he
ever
was
had,
so
and then he
good.
wins the Super Bowl. I'd be like, good for that guy. He got out of the Giants just
Yeah.
trash system. I'm still.
If the
being
Eagles win, there's
impressed
probably
by
going to
the
be
New
like
York Giants,
a
so.
funny Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode about it. So we can look forward to that.
There was a team this year in the NFL that suddenly became good after years and years of sucking that I was very much rooting for, and it was not the Commanders.
Who was it?
The Lions.
Yeah, the Lions were great. I mean, they were
I
good
just don't
last
want
year.
I don't want the Commanders to win. I don't really like them. I'm just still sad that Joe Burrow didn't make it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Amen.
And that Baker got eliminated first round. I mean, that was
Yeah, I liked Baker.
Yeah,
he was
so true.
He was going
Nice job.
going for it.
oh my gosh, I love him.
Because there was times you're like, these guys are toast, and then he would just like scramble on like 3rd and 15 and run over like 4 guys, and you're like, this dude's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And then the Bills are kind of whatever. I don't know why I should like the Bills more. They've never won,
Same.
but I just kind of don't.
I don't think there's any faith that they would win. I think there's just something about the Bills that you look at them and go, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen for the Bills.
I liked the Ravens, honestly.
That's
don't know
I
about
did too.
anybody else.
The script totally flipped on that. Like last year, I didn't like the Ravens, and I didn't really like Lamar Jackson because everybody was all over him about like he should be the MVP, and I'm like he's had a good year, sort of, but not like that good. But nobody really had a good this year. And then this year, they're all over Josh Allen. I'm like, I think Lamar Jackson was better, and he kind of people were like, no, and I'm like, okay. I think I don't know. We'll see who wins MVP, but that's just whatever the
Lamar's
media is.
gonna win it, but
I think so too.
I think this game, there's potential that Josh Allen might have like one of the greatest performances ever.
Yeah, I would like to see
I
that.
think he's gonna like just will his team to win.
Yeah, and that's maybe why the Eagles bug me. I shouldn't be like this, but like Jalen Hurts, I like him. Like it's a cool story. Like it's cool to like have gotten benched and stuff in college and then be like an all-pro quarterback or whatever. But he throws for like 120 yards a game and is boring to watch. I don't know.
And runs for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, but they're
6
all
yards.
QB sneaks. Yeah, it's like Saquon Barkley has like 2,000 yards and like 4 touchdowns. And they're like, Jalen Hurts is the best running quarterback. He has the most touchdowns ever. It's like, yeah, because for some reason Saquon's tripped at the 1 yard line a whole bunch of times. And they tush push instead of giving it to Saquon. It's like, all right, I don't know.
Hey, how about them lads on the defensive side of the ball for the Eagles?
I don't know. I haven't
Numbers
watched.
32 and 33.
Oh,
Giving us hope.
the gentleman.
The lads.
The gentleman,
Gene.
Who's that? DeGene and
It's
who
the
else?
white corners.
Gene and Blankenship.
Oh, Blankenship. That's right.
Yeah, you know their
The
nickname. I
lads.
love their nickname.
Just
I was gonna say brothers, and then I was like, no, that's not
Yeah.
not reserved
the
for
opposite
them.
of that. The
Yes.
sisters.
The sisters.
And when DeGene took Derrick Henry on, was that?
Oh,
What was that?
that was awesome.
Man, that was just like,
He's
whoa, how does a little,
Gene's kind of
not little, but
a freak athlete. Have you seen his getting?
Oh,
I
he's
mean, it's kind of
insane.
bad. Have you seen his basketball highlights from high school?
Oh yeah, he just donked
It's
on
freaking
everybody.
nuts. Did you see when they asked him? This was last year when he was like getting drafted because he went to Iowa, right?
Yeah.
And Caitlin Clark from Iowa, and they were like, "Do you think you could beat Caitlin Clark in 1-on-1?" And all of the ladies out there were like, no, he couldn't." And he's like, "I don't know. Like, I think I do all right. I was pretty good at basketball." And it's like, let's just be honest. He would dumpster Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark's awesome. She's great. She's actually fun to watch a couple highlights of. I'm not gonna watch the game because I don't watch any basketball games. I'm not super interested in the WNBA. But you watch her highlights, I'm like, oh, I'll watch the highlights of this. Like, that's a good step in the right direction, I think. But I'm like, Cooper DeJean is a freak athlete. Like, I'm sick of this. Like, which WNBA players could go and win 1-on-1 versus the best athletes in the world? None of them. Like, this didn't
Brittany
need to,
Griner.
this didn't need to turn into a WNBA trash fest, but yeah, that's just one of the things that stuck out to me from Cooper DeJean. Could he
going
beat
to the
Caitlin
bank.
Clark in
I'm
1-on-1?
taking out my life savings and I'm putting it on DeMarcus Cousins against Brittany Griner.
They asked, yeah, yeah, that one's so funny. They asked some, I think WNBA, or it might have been a college girl, if she could beat Bronny James in 1-on-1, and it's like,
oh my god,
he's not good, but he's in the NBA, sort of,
NBA,
or
he's
in the
there.
G League. Like, you kind of still have to be a freak to be
Got that
there.
two-way contract.
He's got the 2-way contract. I think he's done all right in the G League. Who knows? Who cares?
I think anybody who makes it on an NBA roster goes to the G League and scores 30 points a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So who wins 1v1? Bronny or Brian Scalabrine?
I don't know.
That's
These
a
are
tough
the
one.
debates. We have these debates at work all the time.
I
always-
love
they're
the
asking,
Brian
do you think
Scalabrine highlights.
You could.
Oh, go ahead, Chase.
Do you think you could beat Rudy Gobert in a free throw contest? 5 free throws. Do you think you beat Rudy Gobert?
Easily.
I think if I practiced every day for a week, like if I shot like 20 a day for a week, I could get him.
I just make 6 for 6 in a game the other day.
Really?
Wow.
Like, you know.
Maybe he could.
But yeah, stupid questions like that always come up at work.
The Scalabrine,
who's Brian Scalabrine?
the White Mamba. You don't remember
The
him?
Red Mamba.
Oh, is he Red Mamba? Who's White
He's
Mamba?
got the red head. He's a ginger, so he's the Red Mamba.
Yeah.
I swear he's
the
called
white
the
or the
White
red?
Mamba.
Is he currently a player?
No, he played a long
No,
time
he-
ago. He was just
He's
like a bench
famous
guy
for
for.
having the lowest ever rating of an active player on NBA 2K.
He had, but he did. He's really funny. So you there's this video where
Yeah.
he's like, garbage time, Chicago Bulls, and so he goes in for the last minute of the game and scores 4 points and has an assist and 2 rebounds. And he's like, if you project that out to 48 minutes, it's the greatest performance of all time. 96
My
points.
apologies on the nickname. Scalabrine is the White Mamba. The
Oh my
Red
gosh.
Mamba is Matt Bonner, who played for
Yeah.
Oh, Bonner.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking.
Everybody
Yes.
thought that guy's name was funny
Those
in
are
middle
virtually
school.
the same guy, though. I think if I saw, if I saw
If you
a
saw
highlight
them,
of one and then a highlight of the other, I wouldn't be like, I'd be like, yeah, it's the same dude.
yeah. Well, the thing with Scalabrine is another video I saw that was funny is people at the YMCA or whatever were talking crap to him I could beat you in 1-on-1, and he's like, dude, I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me. And he literally took these dudes and they played to 11. It was 11-0. He just worked
Yeah,
it.
have you seen the series? It's like a 20-episode series on YouTube.
Oh, are there more now? The last time I saw this was years ago. Maybe I totally missed out.
That's what it was. I think there were
He
20 episodes.
Just
and
he
there were
plays a
just
bunch
people
of
challenged
guys.
him.
Yeah, I saw a few.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's
Guess
pretty
his
funny.
career high points in a game?
7.
12.
7, 12. Anyone else want to guess?
Scalabrini, 21.
Caleb's the closest.
Ooh.
Ooh. Is it in the
Do you hit like 25 or something?
29 points in a game.
Wow.
He played a career high 45 minutes on April 15th, 2005 against
For
the
the
Golden
Nets.
State Warriors. Yep.
Oh.
Is that when he was in the Nets?
Well, against the Warriors. He played for... I don't even know who he played
Celtics
for at
then?
that point. But pretty sweet stuff, Scalabrini.
Yeah. He's funny.
I do love that comment that he made where he said, "I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me."
It's a classic quote.
Oh yeah, I heard a good quote the other day on Pat McAfee. It was from they brought somebody on and they were talking about Ryan Day winning the national championship. I'm sure we're going to talk about this later, but apparently he was on the hot seat up until this year, and somebody said the best way to get off the hot seat is a Gatorade bath.
It's true.
Pretty sweet.
That's actually a good quote.
Yeah.
Best way off the hot seat to Gatorade bath.
Yeah, well, we're on the top of quotes. Anyways, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Scalabrini, I remember a reporter asked him, like, how do you feel like you won this? Because he played for the Celtics, and they're like, you won the NBA Finals, but how does it feel to not even play one single second in the whole series? And he's like, that's a mean thing to say. He's like, you guys aren't going to remember. He's like, in 5 years, he's like, my kids are like, I have like a 2-year-old kid. He's like, in 5 years, I'm going to tell him I played. And he's like, in 10 years, I'm going to tell him I made the game-winning shot. He's like, in 20 years, who cares? I'll say I was the MVP. Nobody's going to know. He's like, it feels pretty freaking good to win. So I thought his quote was good. But
that's awesome.
So Corbin talked about Ryan Day, Ohio State winning the D1 FBS national championship over Notre Dame. I didn't watch. That's another one. A lot of these I tuned out by the second half because it was just a blowout or whatever by that point. I'm not super surprised. Ohio State was really good in the playoffs. They won. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but it was not the most compelling like championship ever. Like I didn't super care. I was like, all right, I don't know. Like Ohio State's probably gonna win. Good for them, but I don't know.
Same. Didn't love either team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did enjoy it. I thought I really like Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
I think he's a stud, but like I've been watching him since like his high school days on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy.
But I also enjoyed watching Notre Dame try to mount their comeback in the second half. I thought that was fun, even if it didn't pan out. I thought it was kind of a fun game. Yeah. A little bit boring in the first half for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely made it more exciting. I'm glad they gave him somewhat of a game.
Something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I probably should have tuned back in, but I saw this thing and I thought this was a good point because I couldn't quite put my finger on. I'm like, what is it about Ryan Day? Like, I just don't really like this guy. Like, I don't get it. All the times you see him, he's like, I don't know. But they said it's the beard dye. Like he very obviously dyes his beard, and I'm like, that's what it is. It's weird looking. It's off-putting.
Spokesman for men. Just have a little color in that thing.
Yeah,
dyes his beard.
Touch of gray. 100%. Like you look at me like I'm like that's what it is. It just looks inauthentic. I'm like just let it be gray, dude. Why do you dye the beard?
I didn't even notice that. I'll tell you, I did notice Marcus Freeman's hairline, but
yeah, Marcus Freeman's hairline's a little interesting. I like Marcus Freeman and even Ryan Day. Like you read up on him, like he had a tough. Like his dad committed suicide when he was really young. Like there's just some tough things to go through. Yeah. So Ryan Day, like he seems like a good guy. Just the beard dye thing, I'm like, that's what it is. There was something weird that I'm like, I don't get it with this guy. But good for him for winning. They did lose to Michigan, so we get to hear from probably the two most obnoxious fan bases in college football, Michigan and Ohio State. Which unfortunately, they always act like the world revolves around them, and unfortunately, it has for the last 2 years. So you can't really say anything to that. But oh well, it's fine. They're annoying. Ohio State, the Dallas Cowboys of New York Yankee college football fans. That's what I feel like with them. But it's fine. Marcus Freeman, cool coach, I guess. Seems like a good dude. His story.
He does. I love some of his facial expressions during that game, too.
Yeah.
You could tell he was just getting so ticked at his guys for doing dumb stuff. But
yeah. It's tough out there. But he's good. He's like what? I don't even know if he's 40, but I think he has like 5 kids. Or he might have 6 kids. which is crazy.
I think he's 39. I think his birthday was the day after that game or something.
Oh, really?
This past week, he turned
Yeah.
39.
Yeah, and 6 kids, which I'm like, that's pretty impressive to have been a college football coach for a long time and have a good family and stuff with a bunch of young
And
kids.
he played at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Still benches like 350 pounds or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. So cool. Good. Yeah, good for them. Good for everybody. Good college football season. The FCS title game. I mean, I didn't really plan to talk about this. That was a good one. Did you guys watch that one? North Dakota State and Montana State.
Listen to the end.
Yeah,
it
Watch
was
the
good.
highlights. Yeah,
it was good. It was really back and forth, and North Dakota State pulled it off in the end. So, I don't know what you call that area of the country. Montana
So what?
and the Dakotas dominates FCS.
hell. Oh,
Yeah,
Those
basically.
those quarterbacks, man, they were good.
Yeah.
I would going out on a limb here and say, what's the Notre Dame quarterback?
Riley Leonard.
Name? Like those two are better than him.
Yeah, running back central, Riley Leonard.
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong in this. Like, I don't know. You guys can correct me, but he scored his touchdown or whatever, and then like immediately goes to the camera and holds up his wristband with like a Bible verse on it. And I understand the sentiment behind that, and maybe I'm totally wrong here, but I'm kind of like, and it was about being humble, and I'm like, I get that it's humble, but you're kind of in like, because you're showing off the Bible verse, but you're also like getting right up in the camera, like, look at me, I read. I don't know. That's kind of what it feels like to me, and maybe I'm wrong in that, but I don't know.
You're not.
I don't mind. I don't mind the
little bit.
interviews, like when they interview him and they're like talking about Jesus. I think that's great. Like obviously profess your faith. I just thought that was a weird moment to do that because I'm kind of like, you're sort of flashing
The
the
irony of
camera.
it is if it's about humility and he's like going out of his way to be like, look at this.
Yeah,
You know?
because I'm
I
like,
feel like it's like having a gold chain, like you got a chain that says like humble or something. And
Yeah.
diamonds, and you'd
Yeah.
be like, well, that's not.
because I
That's
get
not humble.
like because I definitely understand he's not trying to be like I'm so great. He's like I'm trying to say the Lord is great, and that I like that. But I'm like it just seemed like a weird way to do it. But it's like if you do have a platform and you're trying to spread the gospel, I guess maybe it's a good way. I don't know. Just that I thought about that. Maybe I thought I'd bring it up. Maybe it's not the right place to bring it up because I definitely
We'll
want.
save that for a sacrament meeting.
Yeah, I'll save that for my elders quorum lesson this week.
I think about it too. Every time they do it, I think about it, and to me, it even when they're at the end of the game and saying their stuff, I just kind of go, it's just kind of like casting your pearls before swine kind of thing. It's just like, there's a place for that, and I'm not sure.
Yeah.
A huge stage after a football athletic event is exactly that, but hey, who am I to judge?
Yeah.
It's good they're doing it.
I know. I do think it's gotten a lot of positive attention. I think for Christianity in general. So I think that's been good. I feel like people have seen it a lot more positive than negative. So I think overall it's a good thing. It's just funny.
Sure.
Maybe my perspective on that will change, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm more of a like show, not not tell. But sometimes you need to tell and say things. So I think it was good. I just did think it was funny to hold up the humility Bible verse right after you score a touchdown to the camera in the national championship.
Yep.
But it's good. Riley Leonard, running back of the year. Good job.
Who won the D3 national championship?
That one was North
Central.
North
Caleb?
Central.
Is that who it was?
Like 70-0.
Yeah, say they probably won by a large margin.
And then Ferris State won D2. That was how it shook out across the board. BYU won.
Who did they play?
Men's
Caleb,
and women's
who did
cross
Ferris
country.
State play?
I think Valdosta State.
That's right.
Yeah. So some good championships out there. Yeah.
It's weird. It sucks that football's getting to this stage. I mean, obviously it's more exciting. You get to playoff time, but man, dang it. Even tonight, I was like, there's no Thursday night football.
Yeah. For me, the bowl game season's the best, where there's just some stupid bowl game on every other day. I like those.
Yep.
Those are fun. Thursday night football is sometimes good, but Yeah.
Yeah, I was lost tonight. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was
Thursday
like,
night football is great. It gives you something to watch while we're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody else is real bored while me and Chase talk to each other. Yeah, nothing to watch while you guys talk. No, yeah.
So how soon is the XFL? Is that what it's still called?
No, it's
That
the
starts in
UFL.
March?
UFL now.
UFL?
Yeah. And there's there's the XFL conference and the USFL conference in the UFL. They're united now in the football league. And I don't know. It was hard to watch. Golf starts getting going, and I pretty much any spare time I get, I'm trying to golf or hit balls or putt or.
Yep.
Now it's going to be holding the baby, I guess. But she does like sitting in her little like seat. So I'm thinking I'll get my putting mat out and she can watch me putt. She likes looking at stuff. So
You can just bring her to grandma and grandpa's. You can go golfing.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Oh no, what I want to get is
Okay.
the stroller with the clubs to walk the course with her. That'll be the plan this
Perfect.
summer.
Yeah. It will be. So let's get to high school basketball.
Okay, yeah, that was the next thing up. So the basketball district tournament preview. All right. So I have here, I don't know if you guys looked at the spreadsheet. I put some work into this. So how it works, districts this year. So our district playoffs in the past, it's been the SCAC East and West, and the top 2 or 3 and sometimes 4 teams came out of that and would go into the state play or to the regional playoff and then potentially to the state playoff, usually against somebody from the other districts. We're in District 5, and our league, District 5 has the SCAC, which is us, and then the other 1A league in our district is the CTL, and it only has 3 teams. So how districts works this year, the top 6 SCAC teams out of 9 and the top 2 out of 3 in the CTL will make an 8-team bracket that is double elimination, but at a certain point it can be triple elimination also. So how it works is those 8 teams at the end of the regular season are put into the field. There will be a small seating committee. I don't know how that's going to work or who's on it. That's not super public, but there's a district seating committee. I would guess it might just be ADs, and they might just go off the RPI potentially. But the teams will be seeded, and then they play an 8-team double elimination tournament. The top 3 teams, so both teams that make it to the district championship, are automatically into state, win or lose once you make it to that district championship. The 2 teams that get to the 3rd, 4th place game, the winner of that, whoever wins 3rd place, is automatic to state. So the top 3 out of our district are automatic to state. The loser of the 4th place game goes to a District 5 and 6 play-in, and then there is actually a 5th and 6th place game. So at a certain point, we go to a 5th and 6th place game. 6th place is out. 5th place also goes to the District 5-6 play-in game, is how that will work. So we'll get into some details for that. So for the boys, right now, I've gone through and I pulled 3 rankings. I don't know if you guys looked at the spreadsheet, but
I did.
yeah.
I can't say it made any sense to me, but
yeah. So I'm going to
pulled
explain
up
it.
and tried to-
So I took rankings from Max Preps, Evans Rankings, who's a local Washington guy who ranks everything, all the kind of main sports. He does rankings. Like he has a computer ranking, and then the RPI that's run by the WIAA. So I took everybody's rankings and averaged them out. So right now the seeding would kind of go like this. So Royal, based on the average ranking, would be number 1 if everything just shakes out, stays how it is. Zilla would be number 2, Chelan would be number 3, Wapato would be number 4, Kashmir would be number 5, and then it's a little bit of a mess for 6 and 7 because Connell, Kaibi, and Walook are all kind of tied right now, and so but only 2 of them of those 3 can get in. So whoever that ends up being, right now the rankings favor Connell and Walook. But they kind of all play each other here in the next 2 weeks, and so we'll kind of see what happens. But those 2 of those 3 teams would be 6 and 7, and then OMAC would be number 8 out of the CTL. They would be the bottom. They're not very good. But the other CTL team is Cascade, and they're like 1 and 15, so they have no shot. They're already mathematically eliminated. So the CTL really doesn't have much else to play for. It's Chelan and OMAC are in, and they're kind of pretty much stuck at kind of the 3 seed and the 8 seed is where they would be. So
Even though OMAC's in automatically, even though they're probably worse than Kaibi, Kano, and Walu,
Yes,
right?
they are definitely like
Oh, really?
significantly worse.
Jeez.
Yes, overall in all of the ranking systems, they're significantly worse.
Yeah.
Evans rankings has them the lowest at 41st in the state, and then Max Preps actually has them higher up at 32nd, but they're 5 spots behind Waluke, who's 27th.
Yeah.
And so like way
Yeesh.
worse. The problem that you get with Chelan and OMAC when you look at them is because their league's so small, they actually play basically a B schedule. So they play mostly B teams. So it's kind of hard to get a really good grasp on how good they are. Basically, Chelan's way better than OMAC. Chelan has worked OMAC, and then Royal worked Chelan when they played them by 33 points. I think it was like 78-35. So Royal's kind of proven they're significantly better Chelan. Chelan's way better than OMAC. Like OMAC's kind of a bottom feeder. But because their league is so small, they'll automatically get into this district playoff. But I would expect them to be one of the first teams out. Most likely they're going to have to play at Royal or Zilla and then play Kashmir or Wapato. And Kashmir and Wapato are good, like average in the top. Wapato averages out inside the top 10. Kashmir just averages just outside the top 10 in the state. So really good teams. So if things shake out totally like this, you'll see the most likely teams to get the automatic state bids are Royal, Zilla, and Chelan. And then Wapato and Kashmir would be favored to get into the District 5 and 6 playoff. What does that mean? Who would they play? So District 6, there are only 4 1A teams in District 6. So how it works for them is they play a district tournament. The top 2, they don't get any automatic qualifiers out of District 6. They only get their top 2 go into this play-in game. The advantage that they have is potentially they only have to play like 1 or 2 games in their district tournament, so they can come in pretty fresh, whereas potentially you will have played 4 games going into your District 5-6 play-in if you're, potentially Kashmir or Wapato. It could be anybody, The team they're most likely to play is Riverside. They're the number 1 over there in District 6, and then Medical Lake would be the number 2. They're kind of neck and neck. Lakeside has potential because I think they beat somebody, but Riverside worked Lakeside. So overall on the rankings, Medical Lake and Riverside are neck and neck on average, and they're a little bit behind Kashmir and Wapato. Royal did beat Riverside 76-38, I think was the score. They doubled them up, whatever it was. So Royals kind of put the smackdown on Riverside. But Riverside's good. They made the playoffs last year and beat Royal. So, a lot of possibilities. But like it's very likely, having broken this all down, that you could get 5 SCAC teams into state out of the 16-team field in state.
Yep.
And then how it works in state is they're reseeded. I have that bracket up, but we can go over that probably in the next couple weeks. And they're reseeded. They all have a first-round game. The bottom seeds can get eliminated in that first-round game, but if you're in the top 8 in the state going into the state playoffs, even if you lose your first game, you're still into the round of 12. And if you win your first game as a top 8 seed, you're automatically into the quarterfinals. So a lot of potential out there for those top teams, like Royal, Zilla, and Chelan, who are all in the top 5 right now of the RPI and all the rankings. If they can all shake it out, really likely that they could get good, good positioning into state. But there's a lot to work on there. Breaking it down in our district, Zilla is the most successful team. State-wise, so they've won the state championship 6 times. The latest time was this last year in 2024, and they've made it to state 44 times. So a lot. Who do you guys think is the next most successful team, if you had to guess without looking at the thing?
I looked at the thing, and I was blown away. But
any
I won't
ideas?
say.
I don't know if anybody else is even still on the call.
I don't remember. I
I think I looked at
but
the thing. I think it was maybe Kashmir or Chelan.
Yeah, so it's Kashmir. So Kashmir actually also has 6 basketball state championships.
Yeah.
Some of those I think were in like the 50s, so it was a long time ago. But same with Zilla. Zilla had a couple from a long time ago, but they've been really successful as of late. And Kashmir has 38 appearances in state.
Yeah, that's a ton.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. Chelan has 24. Wapato has 25. Connell's been 16 times. Omac's been 17 times. Royal only has 7, and they're tied with Kaibi, 7 state berths, while Luke's actually only ever been twice to state. But actually some pretty big droughts. The only 2 teams obviously in our league, because we only got 2 berths last year, were Royal and Zilla that made it to state. Chelan, it's been since 2015 they haven't made it. So it'd be kind of a big thing for them to make it. They've been gone for 10 years that they haven't made it to state. So, and they have 2 state titles, which is cool. So
they were pretty good that year.
In 2015.
That was my senior year. I remember they had a guy.
Oh yeah.
He was like 6'10" or something.
Yeah.
He was really good. He went and played at UC Berkeley or something like that.
Is that where did that one guy go didn't they have some NBA guy? Was that from
Joe
Chelan?
Harris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to
Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia?
Tech?
Something like
University of Virginia, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then won the 3-point contest in the NBA once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Chelan has a pretty good history. They've won a couple state titles, been to state 24 times, but it's been a bit of a dry streak for them. So we'll see if they can make it through. It'd be great. Royal's shown they can beat them at least at home, so kind of bodes well for Royal. But for Royal, you just have to kind of take care of business. If you can win out and do well in the district tournament, you have a really good shot at having a top 8 RPI. I think it would be really tough for Royal. Like some things would really have to fall apart to miss state, just because there's so many opportunities. Like you can lose twice in the district tournament and still have a chance to go to state. That's crazy. Like that's never been a thing with this new district 5-6 play in. So, and especially as I hate to say it, as bad as those District 6 teams are. Not bad, because it's not like Riverside's bad. They're number 10 on Max Preps, number 13 on RPI. But Royals beat them by 39. So that was right after Christmas break. It was a few weeks ago, but I don't know. Yeah, it looks good for Royal, which is awesome. So let's hopefully they have some good things. I think play Connell tomorrow and then Wapato at Wapato on Saturday. So some big games coming up. That Wapato one is huge because they're always tough. They're a good team. Beat them pretty handily in Royal, but now it's in Wapato. They have a very supportive community, especially for basketball. Their gym is pretty crazy, so I would expect that
freaking
to be a tough
Wapato gym, man.
Yeah, and they don't
Bad
live stream
memories.
the games, so they should have a pretty packed house. I don't know. For you guys, what do you think keys are for Royal going into this home stretch here? You guys have kind of been through this and have made it to state. Caleb and Corbin, you guys both played on teams that made it to state. Chase, I don't know if you guys made it to state, but you made it to districts.
No.
And you were
We had
successful.
districts. We lost to Zilla.
But this
someone
last
else.
little
We were out
stretch of
pretty
the
quick.
regular season going into districts,
Jeez.
what are kind of the focuses, the things that are helpful? What do you guys think going into this?
If you're gonna lose any games, lose them now, not later.
Yeah.
We won 17 in a row and then lost the first one at state. So
Yeah. And then you kind of have an uphill battle after that.
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I think it's just basketball season just is so draining because you play so many games so close together. It feels really long.
Yeah.
So it's just about if I think you're fortunate to have some guys on this team who love playing basketball. I think Grant and Manny are all about it. I think Ezra Jenks, I don't know. I saw his little senior spotlight thing. He said basketball's his favorite. So I think you have some guys that I think a lot of times with Royal we have just football players who, when basketball's dragging on, they're like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
But I think you're fortunate to have some guys that are like, this is what they're playing for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, this is like their thing. And it's fun to watch because they're really good. And there's a lot of guys like that too, like down the line. And I think the football players this year also, it's a little different than it's been in the past where it's like, oh yeah, I'm a football player and I play basketball. Like I think they've been really all in for both.
Yeah.
Which is fun to see. Like it's not like, oh, I'm just doing basketball for fun. They're like, no, football we want to win, and basketball we want to win too. And so it's been cool. Caleb,
I've got a
anything?
key to victory for them.
Key to victory. What do you think, Corbin?
Quit trying to block every single shot.
Yeah, jeez, good night.
Like,
That's just
come
across
on.
the board.
Trent to keep his hands straight up, dude.
Oh my god,
Coaching Trent
horrible.
on JV a couple years ago was fun because he would do that. He'd like swat at it super hard and then like get called for a foul and then throw his hand straight up and be like, "I was straight up." And then Jens is in the crowd. Trent, and I'm like, Jens, calm down.
Now we all get to hear that on the broadcast.
Yeah, I know
Not
it's
even
funny on the
just
broadcast. He's
Trent.
calling
It
out
feels like-
Trent. I'm like, oh dang, just let your son have it. He
I've
can
been
it when
impressed
Trent
with
did that.
Trent.
Yeah, Trent's awesome.
Trent's
I
pretty
also-
good.
Most of the time. Most of the
Yeah.
time. Sometimes no, but like I've been impressed with him most of the time. It's
Yeah.
just like everybody in general. It's like, all right, chill out. I'm not gonna swat
Chill
it, but
out.
dude, the one who's a stud that I like watching is Jackson Larson's pretty good, and I like Lance when he on defense, and then he just drains threes that you would not expect to go in.
Yeah.
It's
3 and
awesome.
D.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
Lance.
exactly.
They've all gotten
They've
better
g-
shooters as they go down the family.
I didn't watch the Zilla game, but I listened to it, and I've heard a couple comments from people in the community recently. And it seems, I guess I can kind of see it this way, even though I didn't watch it. But defensively, like we just didn't play great defense against Zilla. I think that's going to be a key.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Zilla had 45 points in the first half. Like that's probably the most we've given up in a long time and a half.
They weren't even.
I do think, and it seemed like when we played Zilla at home, we just gave them fits defensively.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the difference would be. I've heard Ezra's hurt. You heard anything?
That's what
Like
I wondered
Ezra's-
because he
Yeah, he
didn't,
hasn't
he
played
didn't
the
play
last
at the
couple
end.
games.
Yeah, so that's what I wondered. Okay, he hasn't played at all. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, against was it
He has nothing
Schlam the
to
last game? He didn't play.
And that's
Yeah.
tough.
messed up his knee in practice or something. they said.
Oof, that sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
That's tough because he's one of your better shooters and kind of distributors of the ball. And I mean, really smart, especially, I mean, all of Greg's kids are this way, just like sports wise, just seeing the floor and understanding basketball. And so that's a tough one to not have. So hopefully he can get
And that is
better and get going here. Luckily, the team's pretty deep. Luckily, you have Dax, his little brother, who is not quite on the same level as him yet, I don't think, but is still really good. So,
Yep.
and you have Fisher, and you have guys. Like, there's so many dudes.
They've got like a really solid lineup, like a deep roster, and then they can run 5 like guard type forward kids, and then if they
Yeah.
need a big man, Trent's pretty good. They're like,
Yeah.
honestly,
They can come
like,
in and out
really
of a lot of
deep.
different personnel. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely cool. It's going to be exciting to see how they do. That game against Zilla was tough. I really like Zilla's program. Like, I know it's easy to and definitely I think that Zilla's a lot more of a rival now than they used to be, especially in basketball because we can kind of hang now. But I like their program. Even their kids, when they interviewed the kids after the game, it wasn't like, oh, we're all this and that. It's like they were like, Royal's going to be ready for the next matchup. We got to get ready. Like, they're impressive. And their coach, Mario Mangarelli, he's awesome. He coaches golf. So they're a really impressive program. I mean, sometimes you can get annoyed with Zilla, the town, and whatever, those things. But I really like them. And I like that Vandergraaf threw it on a big old dunk at the end of the game to get us back. I love that. I'm like, do it. That's awesome. It was great to see. So I'm excited for the next matchup. It's fun for us to just be like, hey, we could win a district champion. Like, we could compete with Zilla. So for us, that's a big deal. And it's cool to see them want to fight tooth and nail to defend it. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, you always have to respect their program because they are freaking good. And I do think that starts with Mangarelli. I don't know the guy at all, but I've seen comments on social media and different things that he's made over the years.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty level-headed, smart guy. That's
Yeah, I
committed
really like
to
chatting
winning.
with him at the golf stuff because he's the head golf coach. there for Zilla, and they're good at golf too, and it's fun just kind of talking to him, see what he thinks about stuff, even basketball and golf things and stuff. And he runs the program. He's talked to us. I've asked him about his summer program and the stuff he does, and I think he's elementary school PE, so he gets kind of builds a relationship with these kids from the time they're really young and coaches them in different things. So by the time they're seniors, he's been coaching them in the summer for years and years, in various capacities, whether that's in basketball or whether that's in school doing things. So I think you kind of see that come out. So it's cool. It's definitely maybe envious isn't the right word, but a lot of respect and admiration for what they do there in Zilla at their program. It's cool for sure. Real quick, because I don't want to there's a lot of cool things here with the girls team. We focus on the boys sports a lot, and that's probably just because we played all those sports. But the girls team in Royal has done really well, and they actually have a really good shot to go to state also. So the tournaments for boys and girls are exactly the same. It's the exact same format. Right now, Royal is so the top three for the girls in our district for the tournament are Zilla, Kashmir, and Natchez, and that's pretty solidly set. They're all top 10 teams. But then you have Royal, Chelan, and Wapato, who are the rankings have them all over the place between 4, 5, and 6. Actually, on average, it has Royal at the 4, even though they lost head-to-head against Wapato, but they did beat Chelan, and it actually has Chelan ahead of Wapato. So Saturday is going to be big for the girls, see how they perform. But how it shakes out, this is the interesting side of it, is if you can get that 4 seed, even if you don't get one of the automatic qualifiers, it's going to be a real tough ask to get one of the automatic state qualifiers for the girls, just because Zilla, Kashmir, and Natchez are all so good. But Royal has a really good shot at getting one of those 4th or 5th place play-in games. The thing is, if you get the 4th place, then you play the number 2 out of District 6, out of the Northeast A, and that's Medical Lake, who is ranked extremely low. The Northeast A has not a lot of good teams. And so, but they do have Colville. So if you get the 5th place, you have to go on the road and play Colville, and they're good. They're up there close to the top 10. So it's a huge difference on whether you get that 4th or 5th place.
Wow.
Play in or
that
not.
Would be cool if both Royal boys and girls make the state. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So going to girls in our district, Zilla, the most successful by far. Well, in a way, they have 25 state berths. Their best ever finish was 2nd. And then Wapato actually has 18 state berths. They've won a title. Kashmir has 15. They've taken 2nd. Chelan has 13. They've taken 1st. They've won a title. College Place has 1, but they've never placed, but they're also a really new school kind of in the scheme of things. Royal has 4 state berths all time, but they've won a state title. They won a state title their first time ever making the playoffs. The girls did. Last time the girls made the state playoffs, do you guys know when that was?
When was it?
2001.
2001.
2001.
Who would that have been? What girls do you know?
I don't know for sure. All this information I got off the WIAA's website, so it literally just has the teams and the scores and the years. So I don't have a ton of details. It'd be really interesting to find out. We had that 1 state berth when we won state in the 70s, 80s, and then we had a couple in the 90s, and then 2001, and then since then haven't made it. The girls were undefeated league champions last year with Coach Wardenar, her first year running the show. So they've got a lot of momentum going into this. Last year it was before the leagues were combined. So obviously tougher this year because you got a bigger league and Kashmir joined. So Zilla and Natchez and Kashmir were all on the other side of the league last year. So now you're combined with them. So tough to ask for like a league championship in this first year doing this kind of thing. But to have a real legitimate shot at state, but you're gonna have to finish the regular season strong, and then you gotta either get one of the automatic qualifiers, which they could totally do, right? Like you can upset some people, but I think super realistic to see them get that 4th or 5th place. And even if they get the 5th place and have to go play Colville, awesome. Go give them a game and make it. Like I think it's really there to do it. The girls this year are awesome. I've had them in school and middle school, and it's a group that's worked really hard and done a lot of cool stuff. So you're excited to see them potentially make it. I really hope we have both teams going to state. Because it has been a long time. since before Caleb was born. Corbin would have been a very small child the last time they made it to state. Because Corbin was born in August of 2000, right?
Have they officially come out and said that it's Wardenar?
Yes.
Or is it Wardenaire?
It's Wardenar.
I don't
They'll
know.
correct you.
Grant told me Wardenar. I don't know.
Yeah, they've corrected me. Livy and Lauren have corrected me when I was teaching them.
They'll freaking give you the business, those two.
Yeah.
The girls basketball team has probably got a good squad coming up with Livy and Lauren, and then Lizzie Jenks and Justine Fitzhugh, and there's some spazzes there in that group that'll get after you. They're mean in school. I'm like, Jesus, dude. You guys are just like,
they bully their teachers.
They do. They bully the teachers. You'll be like telling them stuff about school, and they're like, "We don't care." And I'm like, "Okay, well, sorry for teaching you guys about computers. I'm the computer teacher." No, they're really nice. I shouldn't say that, but yeah, it's exciting stuff coming up for the girls. So I'm really excited to see how they do. I think this weekend, if they can beat Wapato, it really puts them in a good position seeding wise. Because if they can get the 4 seed in the seeding committee, like if it shakes out how their rankings have it now, they'd play Chelan, who they beat pretty good already. And then they're in, like, you win that first game and it just puts you in such a good spot. Because then even if you lose your second game against Zilla or whoever, you're already just one game away from either making it to state, or being into the play-in, right? So they got to win 2 before they lose 2. That's the goal, to make it in. So I hope we see it. Okay, continuing on here. So around the sports scene, wrestling, I don't know how they're doing. I've seen Maddie's Instagram story of her like body slamming girls in girls wrestling. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
We went and watched her the other night. It was pretty good. I was hoping to see Hallie wrestle too, but Hallie just got a forfeit. But
oh, nice.
Maddie took care of business, pinned her girl in 1 minute.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. Maddie's just
Corbin raised a hand.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
That's on me, everybody.
Okay, yeah. What's like the vibe at a girls wrestling match? Is it like as intense as the boys, or is it crazier?
I have to be careful how I talk here, and so I'm not sure I can honestly tell you. It's so interesting. For one, I haven't been to a wrestling match in so long. You know, they turn all the lights off and do the one little light over the mat, which to me is weird.
Yeah.
But okay, whatever.
It's intense.
So Maddie gets up there, and Maddie looks like she would be a wrestler.
She's really strong.
I rolled out onto the mat and Maddie rolled out there to wrestle, I would just be, oh my gosh, this is going to be tough. And so, for one, the girl that she wrestled was not shapely like Maddie is.
Was not athletic, maybe we can say.
No, didn't have that athletic build.
Yeah.
And I think this girl knew it, and her thought was, I'm going to stall as long as I can. And so Maddie was, you just get that kind of hand-to-hand combat for a minute in the beginning of a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And then pretty soon, as soon as Maddie got a hold of her and got her the slightest bit off balance, she was pinned in 5 seconds.
Yeah, couldn't hang once you're in there.
No. And so it's pretty good because Maddie, she gets out there and she's wrestling. It's not, I'm going to dance around you for a while. I mean, she's trying to get this girl down in a hurry. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I want to see her wrestle more, and I want to see Hallie too.
Yeah, I'd like to go and see that, and I want to see the boys wrestle. I don't know anything about the boys. It's easy for basketball because you can watch the live streams. They post the scores. You can go and look stuff up. For the boys, I'm like, I don't even really know how you even look up how they're doing. Right? Like it's all fluctuates so much of who's wrestling and what weight class and who they're wrestling and stuff. So it's about districts by the time you really know who's where. Unless you're going to all of them. But.
Yeah. And I wonder how boys stack out. I mean, Royal, I think one girl lost, but every other girl was a pin and so quick. It's just like, wow, Royal's girls wrestling is good.
Yeah, I think it's legitimately really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think districts is this week. Isn't it Wednesday night? I think.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. because they go pretty quick. And I don't know, they change from year to year. So Darren Miller, who teaches at the middle school, he's a wrestling coach. And he's always, he asked me, he's like, I don't know, they changed it this year. Now it's a different thing. Now it's regionals. Now it's sub-districts. It always has different names and different formats. But I think this year, with the realignment and stuff, I think it's pretty favorable to get a lot of guys and girls in and do really well. So hopefully that's what we see. I think it'd be fun. I don't think I'll make it this year, but I'd like to go at some point to the Mat Classic. Go to the Tacoma Dome and see it because the pictures look amazing. Of 50 wrestling mats in there.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I was gonna say what other sports are going on, but that's kind of basketball and wrestling. That's sort of your winter sports. So exciting. Hopefully they're doing well. We were gonna talk about the rise of flag football. We might save that for next week because who cares, honestly. I mean, if we needed some filler, but we haven't really needed filler. But I do want to get to this before we close up. I want to hear from you guys. I talked about having a debate sort of thing. I don't really care about debate, but I want to hear from you guys. What are the best and worst places to play on the road of the teams in our league or that you played against? Where were your favorite places to go play? What were the places you hated to go play and why? Think about it.
Walook and Connell come to mind.
As best or worst?
The worst.
Okay.
Walook was just, they had just built that new gym where like all four sides have bleachers, and that was the first time
that was like
I'd
new
ever
thing.
like had to play in that, and so that was like really annoying. And it would be, and they're just, it's always been like a rivalry, especially in basketball. Real rowdy in there, and there's always a close game. The fire alarm would go off every time we'd go there, I think. So it always just sucked to go play there, but it was great when you win. And then Connell, for some reason, I don't know what their court would just feel small or something.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh, there's not as much room here. And I don't know why. Maybe that was all in my head. But.
Connell always plays tough at home too. You can never really. You could have the best team ever, and you're like, and Connell could suck. They could be 0-15, and you go there and you're like, it's going to be a freaking fight to the death, and they're going to have some goon squad kid who's going to throw the ball between his legs and make 5 threes, and you're like, this kid doesn't know if he's right-handed or left-handed, and he's not even good. But today against Royal, he's having the game of his life. And they're gonna, and this goes both ways. I don't want to accuse the other team, but there's gonna be some slapping and some fighting, and it's not gonna get called, and both teams are gonna get frustrated, and it's gonna end 34-38. That's the classic go to Connell.
Exactly the Connell experience.
That's funny.
Gosh, that's going to Connell. I
wonder
what
my
people
favorite
think.
one
Yeah,
was Othello.
Playing at Othello.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just always,
you always did so good.
Everybody was balled out in Othello.
I remember, I don't think in football I hadn't thrown a touchdown the whole year playing quarterback, and then I threw like 3 in the last game of the year at Othello. So I was like, wow, that's incredible. And then same thing in basketball. The most I'd scored was like 3 points. And then I go there, I scored 9 points. So I was like, wow. And all the way, even my senior year, I remember going there.
Oh man, I remember that game.
Yeah, that game was so much fun.
Just like 30.
Senior year, he was shooting the lights
20
out.
something, and just hitting everything. So Othello's always been my favorite.
Yeah. Caleb, Corbin, opinions? Best and worst? And this doesn't have to be for basketball. It can be for football or baseball or wherever.
Corbin can go.
Kaiby's personal favorite.
Really?
I always had my best games there.
KB.
Didn't you guys lose on a buzzer beater there?
Oh gosh.
It happened to me.
I had 27 points or something.
So who cares?
But
I did good.
Yeah, that's the only that's a bittersweet memory. But football was fun going there, I feel like. And then I didn't mind.
Kaiby's fun when you're on the C team. You play on that blue court.
The blue court's awesome, yeah.
And then Riverview, I really enjoyed.
Ugh.
I had good games at Riverview too. It was funny, the ones that people don't really like, I tend to enjoy. Hated Burbank.
Kentucky. Yeah, playing at Burbank sucked.
Yeah, especially in basketball, it sucked.
They
I
were
don't
always
know if I
such
ever played there
tryhards,
in
which is
football.
good. Like you want to try hard, but they were always the ones. I don't know if they did this with you guys, but you'd be shooting a free throw and they would just be like, "I got shooter, you got shooter, I got shooter, I got." It's like, shut up. One time Kent was shooting free throws and he's like, "No, I got shooter, I got shooter," and he just
Burbank
made
had
the
the
free throws.
coolest thing. I remember going and playing. They had some like in their student section, some people sitting in the front row. A couple of those students that had like a cardboard box like over their knees where they were sitting, and it said ESPN, and they were wearing like suits and stuff
Oh
and
yeah,
talking. And I don't know if it was like if they're recording it or broadcasting it or
Yeah.
anything, but I was just like, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
I like that.
That's funny.
And it's fun when they get into it. I remember. I don't know if Caleb has one.
Caleb's played in a lot more places.
He does.
Yeah, I've played in
Traveled
some
for
random places. I feel
football,
like
yeah.
I would
Manson?
say what
Manson.
Don't bring that up.
Manson. Yeah,
Manson,
I had
what
good
a
game,
time.
but that was probably the worst
That
game
one was
ever. Oh my
awful.
gosh! Just leave. That was ridiculous.
Oh, it was so good. It was the best night ever.
Oh man.
Whose parents
Wait,
are
what was
those?
that one? I don't know.
Okay, so where's your worst place to play, Caleb?
I'd say Mattawa. I
Changing
hate
the
that.
subject.
Yeah.
Football and basketball.
Yeah, playing football in Mattawa, if you got an early season game there was fun when it was still light outside because the view was nice and you're like chilling for warm-ups and you're like, we're going to kill these guys, but the view's cool. Yeah. For me, Zilla, when I was on JV, I remember it was like one of the first teams we played when we first moved here. I was a sophomore. And like I got like there was like a bang bang play at like half court. I was dribbling like on the fast break. And the refs like came together and everybody's freaking out. And I was like, I don't know if it was a block or a charge. I have no idea. I thought it was a block. But they're like, kick this kid out. He's a dirty player. I'm like, me? And there was a lady, and I'm not the type, I don't want to like body shame anyone, but she was so big she was melting into the bleachers. And she was like, kick him out. He's a danger to the other players on the court. And I'm like, where are we? Like, we just moved here. I'm like, where are we? This is crazy. And we're getting killed, by the way. We're on this JV team, and our coach is wearing like a priest uniform. And we're getting slaughtered. We don't have any plays. Nobody knows how to play basketball. We just moved from Idaho, where I'd worked really hard to like make the freshman team. We like knew how to play basketball a little bit. I'm like bringing the ball up the court. I can't dribble with my left hand. I can't, but I'm like have to ball out on this team, and I'm like about to get ejected out of the game. I was like, you might as well end the game if you eject me. I'm like, we're freaking screwed if you kick me out of this game. I was like, not like we're gonna win. We're down 30 in the first quarter. I don't even know where we are. But everybody on the way there's like, we're going to Miners after. I'm like, okay, this place better be freaking crazy. The way you guys never shut up about it. We're not even talking about the game. So that was Zilla.
Oh man.
Favorite place? I don't know. We sucked at basketball so bad when I was in high school. Every place you guys name, I'm like, ugh. Best and worst place to play is worst, easily home. Royal. We sucked at home.
For JV when they're on the middle school court.
Oh, dude, it was so bad. It seriously sucked. And then even the home court, because our gym sucked so bad back then, you'd be on the one side of the court shooting free throws, and you're like, shut the door to the foyer. It's getting so cold in here. Shut the door. And there's kids just screaming and like spilling Italian soda onto the court. And we didn't do this on purpose, but back then, I don't know if Royal was not as inclusive of a community, but the bleachers basically got segregated naturally without anybody trying. And you had like the Spanish speaker end and the English speaker end and the band. And we only had like the one side of bleachers. And there was like the mini half side of bleachers, but they were like a mile back.
So far back.
So it's like, what are we even freaking doing in here? And everything, and they hadn't repainted the court. So everything was like from the 70s and yellow.
Yeah.
And the shot clocks like didn't work. And we got those nets that were like super thick so they didn't swish and the ball would like get stuck. And I'm like, what are we even doing here? And I broke my nose and had to wear a mask. And we all ordered shoes from a Chinese website because they were cheaper. We got the John Walls from freaking xijinping.io for $25. The only thing that beats that story is Manson, which I guess we might have to get to in another episode because we've been talking for so long. Manson was a great experience. We might get back to that one, but
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that one
We're
later.
not getting back to that.
it was great. Some of us got technical fouls.
That one was awesome. That was
but only
great.
two of us. I shouldn't say us because I didn't. Only 2 people. Well, 3 if you count
Exactly.
Lynn, got ejected from the game in Manson, and we did win. A bunch of people got T's. Avery got a T. Ray got a T. I got a T for doing nothing, by the way.
Yeah.
And then some people got ejected. The old folks home bus had to come pick up the refs after the game and take them home. There's no way those guys had driver's licenses. And that's not being mean. The one ref the C Squad game too, and Chase was coaching the C Squad game, and he's literally like, I just got out of it.
Yeah.
And this is not, he's literally was telling us about all his ailments, and he's like, yeah, I probably have like 3 to 4 months left. And I was like, okay, whoa. Don't be mean to that ref. That's crazy. He's here. Let's just let him have a good time. Like, it was crazy. So, anyways, all that stuff. Cool. Let's see. Looking at the thing, wrap up the episode by recapping the main points. Yep, district basketball, NFL, college football. We talked about that. It was pretty fun. Definitely follow along. Royal SD Live. Watch the games. Go to the games. Next episode, we'll probably just talk about results. And we'll think of something else fun to talk about. Maybe we'll have people vote. I don't know if you can leave comments, but comment your favorite and worst place to go. Maybe we'll talk about best concessions next week at different places. So think about that. I don't know if we'll start recording on Thursdays now, but yeah, that sounds good. Hopefully this hasn't been too long, but I think it's been good.
It's been a while.
All right. Any last comments for the fans? Nope. Okay.
You're a fan.
I don't know.
Yeah, for the fan,
Posterity here.
the fan base.
I don't know. Most people
Grandma?
now, the first few episodes, they were like, the podcast is awesome. I love that you guys are doing this. And now they're like, I really should listen to more of those. I really,
Yeah.
you guys, I bet they're really good. And you're like, well, how much you betting? Because I'll take the other side of that one. If you know, what odds are you going? Because I bet they're not. Anyways, hopefully we get people listening to this. Maybe we'll post it out on Facebook and X.com and Instagram. Get some listeners, maybe. Or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe we shouldn't. But I think it's
I don't
fun.
feel like this one's been as good. Hasn't been as entertaining as last week.
Yeah, Mom said last week's was good, so that's how you know when your mother is like, I thought last week's was hilarious.
If she doesn't say anything, then you know it's bad.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully people listen, or they don't. I'm having a good time. So, all right. Well, good night, everyone. We're going to stop the episode here. See you next week, maybe.